That sounded like it might be up there. Maybe not.
Okay, it is 5:15 PM.
There's something.
I'll call the Northfield Select Board meeting to order. Are there any adjustments to the agenda? Hearing none. Approve bills for payment. We have our warrant in front of us. Are there any questions, any discussion?
Make a motion to approve the warrant.
Parker makes a motion to approve.
Second.
Frank Bodie seconds. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries. Go ahead and sign that, Joe. Pass it on down. In front of us, we have a financial snapshot provided by our town treasurer. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. We'll move on. Thank you, Lisa. Time for public comment. Is there any public comment that the board can take up there at future agendas? Hearing none. Two. Friends of Northern Lake Champlain and Grand Isle County Natural Resources Conservation District. Lake Watershed Action Plan for Cary and Pilots Bay.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
See you. I hadn't handed out, so you guys like wanted to approve.
I think we have
You guys
them
have-
in
we
the
have it.
meeting.
Anybody would like a hard copy? Good. Yeah. Yeah. How's everyone doing tonight?
Good.
Yeah.
You can go ahead there with,
Well, I think I sent a presentation to Corinne.
Okay. Let's see. Hmm. I think this may be what we have to work with. We'll always read presentation mode, but I don't think to from others.
Just a guys right here, Corinne.
Okay.
Well,
Presentation. I can't. Oh, I see.
Slideshow.
Okay. That one?
Yep. She's got a slideshow mode now.
I like that.
Great, thank you so much. Yeah, so my name is Josh Serpy. I'm with the Friends of Northern Lake Champlain, here with my colleague Molly Bonner of the Grand Isle County Natural Resources Conservation District. And we really wanted to take this opportunity to present on our Lake Watershed Action Plan. It's something that we've been working on over the last year, and we just wanted to, provide an update to the municipality where this is taking place, and also invite the general public here to see if they have any questions and want to hear an update about the project.
Oh.
Thank you. So, a recap of what an LWAP is and who's involved. Y'all haven't heard of it before. This is a Lake Watershed Action Plan. This is funded by the Vermont Department of Environmental Conservation. This is for voluntary, non-regulatory water quality projects in the Lake Champlain Basin and other surrounding lakes and ponds in Vermont. And what this is, it's like to provide a roadmap of these voluntary projects that could be available within your watershed. North Hero and the Carrion Pilots Bay watershed was selected because of the high care for their natural resources. Several organizations that take place within North Hero. So when the state was identifying water bodies that could be a target for this plan, North Hero was chosen just because of that, because there's community members who care. And so what this LWAP is we are able to look at the surrounding watershed and look at your wetlands, look at your roads, look at your shoreland, and really start to hopefully identify some of these conservation projects and get them off the ground. My colleague Molly worked on an action plan for Keeler Bay, and she's seen a lot of great success in being able to identify projects and translate them into design and heading into implementation. So we believe that this is an assessment that can work. It's been proven in other parts of Vermont that projects, when they become identified, there is community buy-in and that they can see them come to fruition. And so, like, what were we doing for the last year? I come here saying that we've been in the works of this for a year. So water quality projects take time. This is a contract funded by the Vermont DEC, and I'll just keep saying that because they have certain guidelines that they want us to follow throughout this process. You know, they have steps and exactly the protocol that we must follow. We hired a consultant. We work with Fitzgerald Environmental. They're out of Colchester. They're a highly reputable watershed consulting firm. They do hydrology studies. They do stormwater assessment plans. They do LWAPs. They've seen a lot of success working in different parts of the state, being able to actually work with these projects with participating municipalities and participating organizations to great success. So me and Molly sitting before you here today, we are the outreach. We are the ones holding the grant. We are the ones facilitating the project, but Fitzgerald Environmental, they are the ones that are getting on the ground and working with it. So we spent last summer with them, identifying areas that they would like to assess, getting out on the ground. We worked with community members through a Bay team. So we were able to get out on the shoreline with members of the shoreline subcommittee. And then we're just really getting out there with the citizens and starting to identify some of these projects. Excellent. Sorry.
That's okay. I'm bouncing back and forth, trying to take notes too, and we just had a new person join, so. Let's see. Would that work?
No,
There we go.
really quick.
And so where are we headed? So by the end of 2026, we hope to have a prioritized list of potential projects that we could work with either with the municipality or with the local landowner where these projects are identified. Again, I'll just mention this because I really want to underscore how important their participation is with the program. We'll hear from one of our members later, but the Bay team has been really integral in working with these private landowners. We've succeeded in getting a lot of permissions, so we've been able to actually get out onto these parcels and talk with the landowners and start to really piece out what issues that we're seeing on land, start to have those conversations. So we really look forward to having more of those conversations over the summer and then start to rise towards the end of 2026 to actually have some tangible projects that we could see moving forward. And I just want to plug our Lakewise program as part of this. So if you are a shoreline landowner and you are curious about your property, you're curious about the plants that are on your property, you're curious about any invasives that you have, or you just want to know more about your lakeshore, this is a program that is here to help you. It's part of this project. It's free. You'll get to spend 2 or 3 hours out on the land with us. And I highly encourage anybody who has a lakeshore property who's more interested for us to come out. And again, I just want to keep saying this is all voluntary. This is non-regulatory. We're not coming out there to punish anybody for anything that they think is going negative with their property. We just want to have a conversation and talk with interested landowners. And with that, I'm going to welcome up Jay White. He is our Bay team member. He is part of the Pilots Bay Restoration Association. And I just wanted to bring him up here because he's been such a great help to actually like working through this project. And I would like to just give him the space to speak on his experience. So thank you, Jay.
Most of you that might recognize me as my long association with PBRA, which is a weed harvesting operation that began some 25 years ago, actually. Um, one of the things with LWAPs is probably the biggest contributor to pollutants into water bodies or streams and rivers. And in this particular case with Pilots Bay and Cary Bay, there really isn't that. There isn't any major rivers or streams that flow into these two bays. But one of the things that I did learn as we looked at different issues is that there is not one large contributor to pollutants going to the bays. It's a series of small, small things we looked at. And my immediate thought was, well, what's this little tiny runoff? How does it affect the bay? But it occurred to me after seeing one after another, it's the combination of a bunch of different things that could be done and grouped together will really make a difference. That was something that it took a little bit of time because my first thought was, how could this small amount of runoff from Route 2 really affect, this water body? So that's one of the things that I really, in the last several months, really came to believe that it's not just one thing, it's going to be a combination of a bunch of smaller things that are really going to help. One of the projects that we looked at is a culvert that's been on Route 2 for probably 100 years now. It was upgraded by the state of Vermont in 2012. In 2011, the hurricane that plummeted Vermont destroyed over 100 bridges. And at the time when this particular culvert was updated and replaced, the state really wanted to put a small bridge in this particular area to prevent what's been happening with a culvert. The culvert was never maintained by the state of Vermont. It was maintained by the Russo family in the 60s and 70s. And Freddie Russo had a small marina in this particular area of the bay.
When you're talking the Cary Bay passage.
Cary Bay, yeah, and I believe if you go back to the history of it, the bay was actually named maybe from Indians carrying their canoes over this area, hence Cary. That's how the name of the bay may have actually got named. So that's an area that right now there's issues with weeds and small stone that fill up on the Cary Bay side to the culvert. And right now there's probably 100 yards of material on the inland sea side sitting there, totally blocking it. So that may be something that in time, the culvert is not necessarily important to AOT, Agency of Transportation, to protect Route 2. I think it was more, I know in the 60s and 70s, the walleyes used to come in from the inland sea to Cary Bay to spawn. So it was a fisheries, it's supported by Fish and Wildlife, more than the Agency of Transportation, I think at this point. But it will, and I think there are studies that show that the flow through this culvert would help the water quality in Cary Bay. So there's a project that who knows where it's go, but maybe it's at least identify the issue at hand. And then, the third thing I guess I would just say, as Josh has said, this is completely involuntary. The property owners are key to this being successful with these projects. A project won't occur or won't happen without participation of the landowner, and there's no enforcement in any way. So that's important that everyone understand that it's a completely project may be identified, you bring it forward to the landowner, property owner. And if they choose to move forward with it, we do. We don't, we don't. But there's no enforcement of it. So.
Thank you, Jack. Yeah, that was great. Thank you. And with that, I think I'll be happy to take any questions from select board members or any community members that wish to share.
You've had good feedback coming from the property owners.
Yeah, I'm just, again, I can't underscore this enough. We identified, I think, up to 20 landowners and we had, I think, in the neighborhood of 75 to 80% allow us to come on and have conversations. So yeah, rousing support just to be able to get out on there. And I think that's a testament to also the wider North Here community.
Can you give a little more information on the Keeler Bay project? What you
Yeah.
did there, what the results were, and
Yeah, I'd be happy to. So that was an assessment that wrapped in 2024. We followed a very similar model. It was a lake watershed action plan. So we sort of looked at all the land area that drains into Keeler Bay. And similar to this, it starts with sort of a desktop assessment. So you use like modeling, looking at land use and sort of identifying potential projects from the computer and then how that translates to on the ground. So we sort of drove around, took this boat tour, reached out to landowners, and then did our best to sort of survey as much land as we could. And the end result of that was 25 identified water quality projects. 6 of the sort of higher priority projects, so ones that maybe have the best community buy-in, are gonna be affordable, are gonna be well-positioned for future grant funds. So sort of, it's a matrix of how we prioritize these projects. We selected 6 of those, and sort of completed very preliminary designs, which is a typical step that leads to final design and then implementation. So where we are, fast forward about a year and a half, we are hopefully implementing, so constructing on the ground 2 projects. One's a stream and floodplain restoration, in between 2 Heroes Brewery and the Community Lane Complex where the library Wally's Bagels is. And then we're doing a bioengineered shoreline, which is basically a natural way to reduce erosion along shorelines on 3 private neighboring properties in South Hero. So we have 2 projects that are hopefully going in the ground this summer, as well as we're working through getting a couple others into final design. So things move a little slowly, more slow than we'd like, but for sort of each phase of those projects, you need to apply for new rounds of funding. There's all permitting, working with the landowners. But now we have this like great portfolio of projects that the state has also identified, like, yes, these are all great projects. So we can sort of just chuck along and hopefully get more and more projects in the ground in the future.
thank you.
I noticed that Albert wasn't included in this, and I was just wondering, I mean, this came up quite some time ago with the railroad trestle. As far as, and there was, it was contentious at times there, some people were moving at least part of it. Others there were concerned, as far as with the marina and whatever. Now, has that been on your radar?
Yeah, so there will be a note in the plan that does talk about it, but with the goal of this project to get projects implemented, we do think about feasibility. In that sense, that factors in, so cost, and we understand that the cost of removing a causeway would be in excess. So thinking about it in the scope of this project with the amount of resources, that being the funding that's available, and then also the size of the organizations. I'm a team of 3. Molly is a team of 1, although she wears many hats. So we think about, we would love to be able to put it in the plan and bring it to a municipality or a state level awareness, but we also want to prioritize projects that are feasible in the short term. Hope that answers your question. You also talked about Albert, so I can speak to that if you'd like as well.
Well, just because that part of the trestle there is with
Right.
Albert,
Yeah.
so.
And so like we did a boat tour. Tom Brisleton of the Shoreland Subcommittee took us around. He's also a Bay team member. And we started going up into the Albert Passage and we were just doing a visual assessment of the shoreline. And we didn't find too much degradation that warranted us really widening our scope up there. Again, we had to cut it off somewhere, but this could be a model for future bays, future passages within Lake Champlain. What's amazing about the islands is there's 200 miles of shoreline. which is what, a third or a fourth of the total in Lake Champlain. So there's a lot of opportunities to be able to start to really identify where these eroding places are. And
I don't think they're bringing the railroad back, so,
yeah.
okay. Well, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, up next is Fire Station Public Works Garage Project, and I will let the Dom take care of this.
Thank you. Well, it's been a interesting month. A lot of ways, you've got a letter early in the month about our issues with the sprinkler. Got a separate letter, later on, actually quite recently, about our issues with some of the contaminated soil, but then I did an overview of everything that had gone on in the month, the best that I could, to try to cover everything that we had done. And rather than go through all of these, let me start and ask if you have any questions. Is there anything that we should talk about, before I give you an update on the contaminated soils issues?
Well, I would just like to thank you and Andy there for your progress reports. You know, they've been very helpful, and especially for those there that are not getting the phone calls all the time.
Carl,
So everyone but you, Carl?
Carl has made me promise that I may only call it with good news.
That was established this weekend.
That was established this week, and I may only call it with good news.
All right, well, if you get bad news, you've got my number, Don.
I will call you. So the contaminated soils, as we noted here, were discovered, and this was not entirely anticipated, nor would it be in any facility where fuel has been dispensed and vehicles have been worked on for 50 years. The good news is we really haven't discovered a tremendous amount. We have about 100 yards of materials that have been stockpiled over at the transfer station that will have, at this point, we believe will have to be disposed of. And there are, as I mentioned, a number of different options. We are not anticipating any more soils that will have to be removed from the site. It is possible, but the excavation for the garage is done. The one issue that we are continuing to deal with is that, interestingly, the water table that at this site was low on the side where the fire station is being built, but it's quite high on the side where we're building the garage. And that's because the shale, the hard shale that's underneath this site goes uphill. It's quite low underneath where the fire station is, but it goes uphill towards the side where the garage is. And because of that, the water table goes uphill as well. So we dug the hole, and our hole filled up with water. So what we've done up to this point is we've pumped out about 2,500 gallons of water. We can't dispose of the water yet because we're waiting for a final test to see if the water has to be filtered before it is pumped out into the wetlands. It will be pumped out in the wetlands. We're waiting to see if it has to be filtered first. We can simply pump it directly out into the wetlands. It's one or the other. We'll know tomorrow. Right now, we're pumping water and holding the water. We hired a company called Vertair. I called Vertair back in January to discuss with Martha Roy what we should plan for in the event that we ran into this situation. I said, what do we do? She said, we have any known spills? And I said, we have no known spills. She said, then you don't do anything. You wait until you discover if you have a problem and you call us. So we come up, and they literally came the next day. And that was this past week. And they said, a gentleman named Mike Harris up it. He began sampling the soils, and that's how we discovered we had soil issues. He also sampled the water. He sent the water off for testing. The testing has been, the preliminary test came back and it's right on the borderline, which is why rather than just pumping the water out into the wetlands, like you normally would if you had excess water in your excavation, you could just pump it wherever you need to. We're holding that water right now. So we'll know tomorrow whether we filter that water or we can just pump it out. So outside of that, we're continuing to make progress, sort of in spite of our obstacles. We have finished pouring the foundation walls of the fire station. We're planning on pouring the footings of the garage tomorrow or Wednesday, probably Wednesday, I think now. And they'll start backfilling the fire station tomorrow. And I would say by Monday of next week, they'll be delivering lumber and starting to build the framework of the building. So we are moving along.
Any other questions for Don?
Oh, I do have one more thing. I have the first preliminary estimate of the cost of the contaminated soils from Verter, and it is under $30,000. This includes the cost of the excavation, and stockpiling, the cost of Verter's work, the testing, the likely cost of pumping this, and the disposal costs. We'll have a better estimate, and of course, the state of Vermont being involved in everything else. So this will become a registered site with the state of Vermont. It was never that way before, but it will be in the future. Anything else, Andy? Do you want to think of with this?
Just as far as the water at the garage goes, it's just barely above the stone level where the footing are. So once the footings get poured, that should be the end of having to worry about the water.
Right.
Did you hit ledge?
Nope.
Digging the footing that?
Actually, we're right at we're just starting into the ledge in the northeast corner, Tracy. Not hard ledge, but into the really heavily compacted shale. So he had some hard digging in that back corner, which is interesting because we never did any soil borings in that area. We were only really concerned about the soils hitting ledge over by the fire station and nothing, but we hit it where the old building was.
Can you explain the state registered site, what that really means?
Doesn't mean much, honestly. It just means that the state, their registry of all of the locations that have had some level of petroleum pollution, it's noted. And that's all it is. It's just for the record. The state has a petroleum cleanup fund that we have be part of, that would defray some of the expenses or much of the expenses of this. However, that fund is designed to pay for primarily the leakage of underground tanks. All fuel tanks leak eventually. We did not have, or there are no known underground tanks over there. In all the years, they were all above ground tanks. So we've asked them to include us. We don't know if they will or not. So, but they will register us as a site where there has been some contaminated soil. And some of the soils that are contaminated are left underneath the building. We don't actually take out all the soils. Any soil that has to be excavated for us to be able to put the foundation in, those have to be removed. But some of the soils that are deep underneath the building that have some level of contamination, they're simply left in place. But I sort of answered your question by going all around it. The state simply records any location that has any level of pollution.
And remediation, they'll record that also?
They record what is done. Yes. So part of Verter's job, the company we hired, Verter Environmental, they write up a remediation plan. So they submit that to the state. The state actually approves that plan. And the state ultimately determines whether they would like to have any additional testing done. or whether they want to monitor the site. Typically, monitoring is done if there is a really high level of pollution, or there's heavy metal pollution, those kind of things, that you don't get that from petroleum, you get that from PCBs or from industrial contaminants. We don't have any of that. So our pollution is more run of the mill petroleum, so, but we do end up on their registry, but they have a right to ask for future monitoring. It's unlikely. Verter said that would be extremely rare in our situation.
And this is just due to accumulating over 50 years,
As far as they can tell.
as far as they.
They're
can tell,
really,
right?
it's very, the oddity of this is that we tested positive soils on the front left-hand side of the building and on the front right-hand side of the building and nowhere else. It's not in between along the front side of the building. It's not in the back of the building. It's on the front left-hand side and the front right-hand side. Now, we have some opinions about why that is, but nobody knows. And the Verter tech said, I cannot pinpoint exactly why this has happened. We know we had tanks in certain areas. We know we had vehicles that sat for long periods of time that may have leaked, but we don't know exactly the cause of either one of these. We do know that there was some leakage from a broken pipe that leached oily sludge underneath the building, but that is not the major cause of the fuel oil. So the good news is we did not have, I mean, I've been involved in jobs where there were thousands of yards of material removed from a site. And this was it's a very, very minor amount of material. So.
Any other
Did
questions?
did I get the question answered reasonably well?
Yeah.
That's the best I can do with this one.
Any other questions for Don?
Thank you, Don.
Thank you, Don. Thank you, Andy. All right, moving on to Public Works. Tracy, you're up.
Well, today you're saying, some of you may or may not know, our public works assistant person has moved on to the weird search for another one at this point. So, that's first and foremost. We have grant and aid letters of intent in front of you that need to be authorized. And you are ditching and enough of the process of the state.
Make a motion to approve the letter of intent to participate in the SFY 27 municipal road grants and aid program.
A motion there by Harry. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Joe, seconds. Any further discussion? Oh, yes. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries. I will sign this.
I'll also make a motion that we approve the NRPC agreement for municipal assistance to support the SFY 26 grants and aid construction project.
Harry makes the motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Claire seconds. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries.
Well, I'll also make a motion that we adopt the certification of compliance for town road and bridge standards and network inventory dated April 9th, 2026.
Here.
Everybody.
Everybody. Harry makes the motion. Do I have a second?
Frank seconded.
Frank seconds. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries. I'll pass this around for everybody's signature. Thank you, Tracy. And we are actively looking for a public works assistant. Two, radar speed feedback signs. Corinne, would you like to give us a brief update on this?
Yes, to move forward with the project of the radar speed feedback signs, the next step is the 1111 permit. And to get that ready, we need a site plan. So Northwest Regional Planning is willing to draft the site plan for us. They need a determination as to where we want the radar speed feedback signs. So they can do that.
Okay, well, it goes to 35 there, just northeast of Savage Point Road, and it is to the north of Station Road. That's the 30 mile an hour speed zone. So that would be my recommendation, unless somebody has a different opinion on that.
The radar speed feedback signs, they're the ones in South Hero. They'll be like that. They are actually required to be on a speed limit sign. So some of the pins there are the warning transition signs and they can't go there. I was just trying to give a frame of reference. So we're basically have
Putting them on those signs.
two choices. Well, there's 40, you could put it on the 40 or the 30 on either side. And the state's recommendation would be the 30.
Yeah, I see
Right.
30, the critical area.
Okay,
Make a motion that we designate the appropriate location for the speed feedback signs to be affixed to the 30 mile per hour speed signs entering from the north and from the south.
I'll second.
Harry makes the motion, Joe seconds. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries. And you will touch base with them and.
Yeah, I'll let, and I'll let you know so they can get started on that.
Okay.
It's not a
Have we
huge-
heard any more things? Was it ARB?
No, we won't know until May.
Okay, thank you.
So not a huge hurry for the 1111 permit, but just one step at a time.
Shore Lot subdivision, update on custodial care application, Lynn.
Yes, so we are, you have in your packets the DRB subdivision decision approving our request for a 3-lot subdivision on West Shore Road. That was forwarded to the state. They thanked us for our hard work, which I don't usually get a thank you from the state of Vermont. And they said that they had everything they needed at this point to revive our custodial care application. There will be an Act 250 warning process that's required because it's been so long since we started the custodial care application. It was done in 2021. And so, and they said, basically, we'll get back with you when we're ready to move on.
Thank you, Carl. And
Well,
Corinne.
I get the big bucks. So we got the DRB subdivision, that's all, we've all read that, we're okay, we've been okayed on that. We're still working on that. Brent and I can update you at a future time there as far as when we get all the proper feedback. Finally, we get the treasurer report. Lisa.
So by statute, I have to provide the quarterly financial reports to you, which was done. We are 3/4 of the way for the fiscal year. Just a couple of things that we are gonna be over on, so there's fees are gonna be over. Legal across the board, every department is over on this. And propane across the board, every department. That's what
On what?
propane.
Propane.
So those are the three big ones. Everything else is, there's a couple lines that are over, if anybody has any questions.
Looking forward, will we be over with diesel now?
Fuel for the trucks because
Yeah.
we're getting it through.
Yeah, we're getting at the pumps versus.
Right.
Paying for our own tank, so. Over, I can't answer that.
Yeah.
Off the top of my head.
And just the cost.
Right, what
It's the cost for it, yeah.
is
Mhm.
the amount of usage, you should be pretty close to the same, I would suspect.
Mhm.
Now, what I had advised Tracy to do, Tracy moved the fuel tank from the old public works site along with this container there, the concrete container, and he's moved that down to the transfer station. My recommendation is that, well, with any luck there, well, I wouldn't necessarily fill it up right now, but to get maybe some fuel in there, that'll help there when he's doing roadside mowing. And also for the backhoe equipment there, that they don't have to lug, he doesn't have to lug cans back and forth there to fill these machines. And I think with roadside mowing coming up there, that's important there that he can, because that's where he'll be parking the machine and
Mhm.
then he can just fill it up, you know.
And it's secure. It's secure.
Yeah, he's got a lock for it, and I don't know if you've handed the key there, or
Yeah.
given a key to fire department yet.
Oh, no.
Okay. So just in the event there, we were thinking about that, you know, if there were a call and the fire department there couldn't get to. If it's, 3 o'clock in the morning, these places are closed or whatever there, that they can go
Mhm.
there and fill up. So. What's have you got for us there, Lisa?
Just we have CDs that are maturing this month. The North Station CD, both are going to mature, one on the 13th, one on the 24th. But I didn't know if you wanted to, now that we have access to the bond, to put a third CD for the North Station money. Invest that. We have about like 120,000 and left. 125,000.
I'd rather see it doing something than nothing.
Because I'm going to submit the first requisition, first request from the bond with the invoices that we did this month. And they say they turn around in 24 to 48 hours, so we should have the money in our account right away.
Yeah, I would like to see it. I mean, give us something back.
What are the rates that we have right now for the maturing bonds or the CDs?
So the rates are, we have for 1 month, 3.26. And then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 month terms are all at 3.29. Those are the rates as of today. And then 8, 9, and 10 month terms are 3.28. 11 is 3.26 and 12 is 3.26.
There's 3.9 or
3.29. So 1 month, 3.26. 2 through 7 are 3.29. 8 through 10 are 3.28. 11 and 12 are 3.26.
that's 3 months up?
Yeah, 2 through 6 is all
2 through
3.29. Yeah,
6,
2
okay.
through 7 are 3.
2 through 7.
So Lisa, what are the amounts that are left? Is it what's here?
Yeah, and then did you see what's from on
The financial snapshot?
now if you look at the balance sheet. So we have the North Station Building CD number 1 has 228,000 in it. Number 2 has 342,000, and then what's left is 125,000
Oh, I
in
see.
that fund.
Okay.
That's just kind of hanging out there.
Well, what's the board's pleasure or discussion on this?
Frank, what do you see the rates doing?
I have an opinion. I don't think the rates are gonna change all that much in the very near future. I'm a big fan of liquidity when there's not a big trade-off with rates. So for 2 or 3 basis point difference out over 1 month through 12, I don't see that as being compelling enough to lock up money for that long, personally.
I agree.
So even if it was a 1 month roll at 326.
320, I think it's 320, yeah.
Well, entertain a motion.
Make a motion that we renew the CDs that are due to mature for 1 month.
We have a motion. Oh, go ahead.
And also that we invest all remaining funds that are not in the CD in a 1 month term as well, for a 1 month term as well.
You got that, Corinne? Do I have a second?
Okay.
Claire seconds. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Frank.
It's well done in one motion.
Yeah, there we go. Okay. We move on to delinquent tax collection.
Lots happened in the delinquent tax department in the last couple weeks. The tax sale date has been set for Wednesday, May 27th. It's the 2 properties, 7 Savage Point North and 88 Maple Ridge. Jim Benson accompanied me and we hand delivered the tax sale data to 88 Maple Ridge and talked to Jim. He is supposed to come into the office tomorrow to set up a plan, a payment plan. And we delivered it to Savage Point North. They were not home, but Kim did call me on Friday to set up a payment plan, although she hasn't signed it and returned it to me. So still waiting. But we're also supposed to have a payment on the 15th from her. And then on the other accounts, the Butler Island account was paid in full, the Blue Heron account was paid in full. And the 2 Lola Scandori properties, one on Oak Ridge Lane and one on Lakeview, are up for sale. And there is a very interested, from what I understand, a very interested buyer, so that would all be cleared up at the closing.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Lisa. Any other questions for Lisa on delinquent tax? All right, moving on. Capital improvement plan. This took up a lot of data.
Good. It's important stuff.
Anyway. All right, so we have Appendix A.
Well, Carl,
What?
this
Yes.
is all information from the Capital Improvement Plan Committee.
Yep.
And what they would like is a review and a response. And I didn't know with the amount of data, if you want to just have me pull up all of these sheets and the board go through them one at a time, or if you'd like to appoint a couple of people to work with myself and Lisa to get all this updated, or see if there are any concerns to bring it back for the next meeting.
I like the idea of appointing a couple of people to give you guys a hand.
Frank's already chuckling.
He's,
Okay.
you just walk in, Frank.
You were nominating before you even came in the door, Carl.
There we go, yeah, I knew something was coming up.
You're only with that process. So.
Okay. Well, I would like to, I'll just throw this out there, I mean, we have a couple of big number of people there on this committee, or on this board.
The 2 of us, you mean?
So I'm just wondering there whether or not the 2 of you there would be receptive to helping out.
Sure.
I'll send an email with the actual Excel and original versions of this. And then if you want to meet with just Lisa or the both of us, let us know, or you just, however you want to go forward.
Does this technically constitute a subcommittee under our current policy?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
It's not a majority quorum.
Okay.
Is that, I've been feeling really, I'm giving off
Yeah.
strong vibes there, aren't I?
Yeah.
It's been a while.
We
since I've
just
looked at it.
You.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay, well then, let's improve this quickly.
All right, so Claire Lavoie and Frank Cody will give the two of you assistance on this. Okay. And of course, to keep us all informed. You know. All right. Is that it on it? Any other further discussion on that? Hearing none. We'll go on to Liquor License Control Board. I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion to enter the liquor control board
Recess the select board.
and recess the select board at 6:04.
I'll second that motion.
Harry seconds it. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? We are now in the Liquor Control Board at 6:05 PM. Okay. We have two licenses here,
We have two entities.
or two entities, I should say.
I'll make a motion that we approve the first class restaurant bar license, first class outside consumption permit, and special event permit Green Up Day for Kramer and Kin LLC as presented.
Okay, I have a motion by Harry. Do I have a second?
Second.
Frank seconds. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Now we have Heroes Welcome.
I'll make a motion to approve the tobacco license and second class license for Lake Country Provisions LLC as presented.
Harry makes the motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right, Frank. You got it. Frank makes second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries.
I'll make a motion to adjourn liquor control and resume the select board meeting at 6:06 PM.
I have a motion by Harry. Do we have a second? Claire seconds. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? We are now going back into select board meeting at 6:06 PM. In front of us there, we have some correspondence. Thank you from Voices Against Violence. And have a request there for Northwest. It's Northwest Fiber Works.
We're still looking for a representative.
Yep. Still looking for a representative.
I wish them very well. And then I will also make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries. 6:07 PM. Thank you all very, very much.
Thank you.
All done. So you back for good?
Do I cancel that? Oh, I wanted to end everything, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.